Hello everyone, welcome to Imani's Lightwork Keys to Akasha section of my channel. If you are a new subscriber, welcome. If you've been here from the beginning of time, I truly appreciate your continuous love and support. Okay, so before I begin with the case I'm going to be covering today, I just want to let you guys know that I do have my tarot series available on my Instagram at ImaniIfe777. Please feel free, if you have IG, go over there, follow, partake in the series if you feel inclined to. Okay, and also one thing to keep note of these readings is that everything is channeled and interpreted. That means that I'm using my ability and aid of spirit to get the readings done. Okay, like always, if you have comments, questions, or concerns, kindly contact me via Instagram. My email is iofakasha108@gmail.com. That will also be available in the descriptions of this reading and other readings as well. Okay, so today I'm going to be covering the case of Janae Gagnier. Okay, I don't know much about her. I didn't look up any information, as I don't necessarily look up any information. I just kind of purely pick up any energy or information on my own. The only thing that I really look for is, of course, the name, birthday, and circumstance and cause of circumstance. Okay, she was born November 26, 1987. Correct me if I'm wrong. That would be making her a Sagittarian. Her birthday is actually coming up next month, and her death claim, or I should say the date of DOD, date of death, August 29, 2021. Okay, the circumstances, they claim that she was found murdered in her home in Texas, in Woodbridge, I believe. That's in Texas. Correct me if I'm wrong. The claim is that she was involved with a man that ended up stalking her, and it ended up being a murder-suicide. But it sounded kind of strange to me. Like I said, I don't know much about her. I don't know anything about her background, but I'm going to look to see what was really going on, and I'm going to zero in on this claim, okay? Just to see if there's any falsities surrounding her energy, all right? Okay. She went by Mercedes Moore on Instagram as well. What actually led me to want to do her reading is that it's so weird. Like, I don't know. I was looking at my phone, and I think I was looking her up, and I was doing something else in my phone, and then the page that I was looking at her, like I was looking, the news article about her, the page popped up and kind of cut off what I was doing before. Or I was going on my phone, and then the page of the news article that she was in, it popped up out of nowhere on my screen. So I kind of felt like that was a sign, because I don't usually just do these readings, impromptu. I usually kind of feel guided to do them. Okay. I do get this idea that her energy is saying I was too close. I don't know what that means. I'm going to try my best to do this in chronological order. I'm going to look at her energy ethereally, and I'm going to also look at her energy from a biospheric perspective. Biospheric meaning like the plane of existence that we're currently living on as humans, and then the esoteric or ethereal connection that our spirit has to anything else that's external from the biosphere. Okay, but let's see what's going on. She said I was too close to something. I don't know what that too close could be. Literally being too close to a person. I always get this idea of like a prospect, like a prospective date, or like a prospective someone that she had in her energy, like a prospective person. Too close could also literally be a perspective that she had. I also get the idea of like the music industry or the modeling agency she was working for. Like there was a prospect, like prospect as in like PROSPECT, prospect, and then perspective, like PERSPE, you know the rest, right? Perspective. So she either had a perspective. The spirit is giving me an idea of aggravating an agent. Like, I mean, she was a model, so I would deem her to have her own agent or manager. There was an agent or a manager that she had a really interesting perspective, or they were a prospect. I'm going to go there. Or something's going on where she had a really interesting perspective on something, and her perspective on something aggravated an agent or a manager that she had, vice versa, if that makes any sense, okay? But something was aggravated about them. I don't know if they wanted her to wear something specific. I don't know. I also get taxes. It has something to do with taxes and the pay that she would have been receiving, like from videos that she did. Working in production and doing like little videos and promotionary videos and things of that nature. Maybe a few shots and things of that nature. Someone didn't want to file her. I don't know if she didn't want to file something, or someone didn't want to file her. I don't know what that means. Like it could be tax related, yes. I mean, I do know what it means. Like filing her would be like putting her information on file, or putting her information on file from a promotionary perspective, so that she does become more known than she was, if that makes any sense, right? I mean, she had over 1 million followers, so she had over 1 million followers. I don't know if a percentage of those followers, I don't know if they were like bots, and then the other percentage of them were like real people, but it has something to do with definitely putting her name out there, promotionary things. I mean, of course, with promotionary things, you're going to have taxes. You're going to do, it typically costs to do promotionary things, and then it also costs to file taxes for those promotionary things, if that makes any sense. All right. But as I'm talking about it, I do get this idea that an agent or a manager may have been aggravated with that, or they were aggravated with, I also get a promotionary tool. Someone was aggravated in regards to a promotionary tool that they used with her, whatever that means. Like promotionary tools could be the videos. Promotionary tools are images and snapshots of her. Promotionary tools, what else is an example of promotionary tool? Like using Instagram and like promoting her things. Those are considered promotionary tools. Could be if I go online and I want to pay, and if I go online and I want to pay for a specific post to be promoted, or I want a song to get out there, I want a video to get out there, I'm going to pay to promote it. But I don't know if something was coming out of her own pocket, or something was coming out of I feel like the aggravation possibly may have been coming from the agent or the manager, because I feel like they may have been coming out of their own pocket to fund something that she want promotionary wise, if that makes any sense. All right, but let's see what's going on. But I'm trying to connect, that to the too close idea. Too close. The too close fame. The too close is related to fame. Like I'm feeling that. The too close may have been related to fame. It feels like she could have been, what's it called? Too close to like a celebrity. I'm getting like a Libra element as well. Too close to a celebrity, or the fame of a celebrity, or the comparison to another celebrity, and something strange is wrong there. Was wrong, okay? 2, 3. Alright, so the Aeon is here. The Aeon I consider to be like the universe energy. I don't know if this is kind of giving me the idea that she was on the verge of getting some type of contract, whether it was modeling related or beauty modeling related, where they're only doing your face and modeling, meaning like your face and your entire body. That's one element about this. Another element as well is that she was on the verge of getting signed. You know what I mean? I get switching, so something's going on with switching. Either like, that's why I was getting an idea of a perspective, kind of like switching her career idea. So whereas she may have been just sticking to modeling or beauty modeling or IG modeling, she may have been on the verge of transitioning from doing that and entering the music industry. I don't know, if she was singing or, what her skills were in terms of singing. What's the other idea of this? What do you call those girls that they are like in videos? Not video vixen. What's it called? Like background dancers for celebrities. Like, I don't know if she was doing that when she, that could have been what she was doing as well. And I also feel like she may have been on the verge to get a contract to do that with a celebrity. Could have been Cardi B. I know I was picking up Libra energy, and Cardi B is a Libra. There could have been another Libra element around her at the time, or whatever other air sign. I'm just gonna go with that she was supposed to be signed to be like a backup dancer for a celebrity in their music video. So that could be Cardi B's music video, or I'm being drawn to a stylist. Like, I don't know, the spirit always cuts me off. I'm being drawn to a stylist. She had a stylist. Something's important about the stylist. I don't know why the spirit cut me off on that point about a stylist. I don't know if this is like a celebrity external from her, their stylist, or her own personal stylist. I get this idea of being underpaid. So a stylist could have felt underpaid. But I find it really interesting that I was talking about her possibly getting a contract to be a background dancer for a celebrity. And being a background dancer for a celebrity would imply that she have her own stylist, or she'd be appointed her own stylist, if that makes any sense. Or she had one at the time, but somebody felt underpaid for some reason. I don't know. Someone that she had around her that was doing her hair and nails and makeup, something about that person felt underpaid. Like they were underpaid for some reason, okay? But what's interesting is if they felt that way, she was on the verge of getting a contract to be in the music industry. But if she wasn't singing or rapping necessarily, to be in the music industry meant that she would be a background dancer, some type of dancer, or like an extra. Those videos how they have the girls and they do things on the side, and then you have the main artist singing in the center, like that. Like she would have been one of those dancers. Or like, how Megan Thee Stallion has Megan Thee Stallion is an Aquarius. That's why I was picking up all that air. So Cardi and Megan, I was picking up all that air, and I couldn't figure out why. So background dancing for Megan, Cardi, whoever other those air sign elements that they're rappers, and they were going to sign her. I do feel like she was on the verge of getting signed, but there's a stylist that she had. I don't know if this is somebody else's stylist. I feel like it could have been her stylist that someone was envious or they felt underpaid. Something is weird there. The Prince of Swords energy is here, so that's why I was picking up air as well. You have the Hacker. Prince of Swords would be an air sign. That's a guy. Okay, so they're an Aquarian, they're a Libra, they're a Gemini, that's a dude. Okay, they're here as well. They could be the manager, like they could be one of her managers, they could be a celebrity, but they're on the computer, so I feel like there's someone who's managing her finances for her. This is someone who was manager. I get the account. They were managing like her bank account, or they were managing her Instagram account. Connected to her Instagram account is her bank account. connected to her Cash Apps and PayPals and Zells is her bank account. Like, they have access to that documentation or that information, okay? I do get this idea that this person may have been stealing funds from her. They are the hacker, so she could have gotten hacked at one point. She could have gotten hacked at one point. She could have had more than one Instagram page. Or someone created another, somebody could have been on the verge of creating another Instagram page for her, or she had her main one the main one that she had was too vulnerable. So if this energy is shown up here like a manager or an agent, I feel like something is back up with them, like they're backup. What does that mean? They could be a backup hairstylist, or they were, what's the situation? They're a backup agent, they're a backup manager, they're a backup promoter for her brand. What's another situation? Or they were responsible for backing up her documentation or her information online, because she's got these Instagram pages. Possibly, I don't know if she was on Facebook necessarily, but this person is responsible for backing up payments that are associated with those accounts, if that makes any sense. I get this idea of checks and balances with this person as well. So checks and balances would be that someone may have been keeping an eye on like payments that that's why I was getting an idea of promotion and things of that nature. Payments and checks. I don't know if she could have been writing checks. People could have been writing her checks for her to deposit into her accounts and things of that nature. So this person singularly could have been doing that directly to her, or they're responsible for managing that for her, because she's got 1 million plus people are on her page, and the page with that many people, she then is vulnerable. Like she's vulnerable. Her finances are vulnerable. The fact that people are coming in from all outlets of the areas of the world, and they're sending her money. Like, she didn't have to ask for any money. This person was responsible for keeping an eye on that for her. They was responsible for keeping an eye. They could have been stealing some of it. You know where they are. They could have been stealing some of the money. They could have been hacking to take some of the money, or they could have hacked. I didn't notice. There's this idea where she had some type of money, and so in an account that was vulnerable, attached to some page, attached to her Instagram page, or attached to what she was doing separately from the Instagram page. It could have been the OnlyFans and things of that nature. She had accounts attached to that so that people could send her money. Somebody could have hacked that, and that whoever that was that did that, they had access to the money. Or if they were a manager, that is, or there was a random person that was. They could be like a random person that they had access to her accounts, and they were taking money, or they were stealing money. They were stealing money. They're like a hacker. Or they're an agent that's responsible for managing things, and they're watching things, or they hacked something and they're able to take some type of percentage of money out of the accounts that she had, because people are just sending her checks. She's just getting like these donations and things to her pages, like easily, because of her beauty. Wow. The waiting position has the Fool. So I knew I was feeling the Aries. That's so crazy. I was feeling the Aries coming through. I was feeling that. I was really feeling the Aries element. If this isn't only an Aries in the waiting position, the Fool does imply journey. The Fool implies journey. Journey could be going towards her home. I also get this idea of like an accountant. An accountant. This energy could be shown up here like an accountant or a lawyer that she was appointed. You know what I mean? Her property, her intellectual property, and things of that nature. Her videos. So like a lawyer, someone like an accountant, someone that could protect her assets, I should say, is who the Prince of Swords energy is also shown up there as, or it's an Aries element. Or it's this journey that she's going to this person and she's waiting to see them. I also get an argument. She could have gotten in an argument with an accountant or a lawyer or an agent. The accountant, the lawyer, or the agent is responsible for managing the finances. They're in. I also get an intention. Someone had a really interesting intention with her, or they had a really interesting objective with her. But what's interesting, there's a lot of skepticism that she had around this person and their access to her accounts. I also get this idea of like a liability, like something is also a liability with this individual, like they're a liability for her. I don't know if they saw her that way or something that she had attached to her, something that she had going on was like a liability. Is like their explanation or her explanation, right? It's her explanation. Someone becoming a liability, something that she had becoming, it was a liability. You know what I mean? It was a liability. But the situation is that she could have potentially gotten into an argument with this person into, again, missing funds. She was missing funds at one point. She was missing funds, and she's traveling to this person, or they're traveling to her, and they're like, you know, what's going on? Again, where's my payment? They're like asking her, where's my payment? She may have been asking them, where's my payment? Where's my payment? Where's the money from the donations that this person sent me the other day? Why is it missing? I get pending. Why is it pending still? Why is it pending still? So they're responsible for why I get cracked the system. They cracked the system, and she either asked them to do that or they did that on their own. She has like pending payments. She's got like pending payments, and they're responsible. They can control the reason into why the payments are pending. They're controlling that. Like, it's not a system error. Someone is going into the system. So I get a deposit. They're going into the system to make sure that she doesn't get some type of deposit, or they're going into the system to get something deposited that she has to them, right? I do get this idea of court as well. So I do get this idea of court. That's why the Fool is there. I do get this idea of court, like a court. There's an energy of court here. So she may have been on the verge of taking someone to court. She may have been taking, you know, she could have been on the verge of taking someone to court here as well. For one part of this has to do with her documentation usage, or the access to her documentation. Having access to the documentation will mean that they have access to the funds. They have access to the deposits that people were making in her account. If they're an agent, if they're a manager of some kind, somebody's also shown up there like an accountant. So this could be an Aries element that she may have been interacting with, or just a journey with this person, and the fact that they were stealing something from her. They could be currently doing that because they have access, or they always had access. So she could have been responsible for the reason why they did, or they just went into the system on their own and had something deposited to them. So she is taking someone to court, or she's just going to court, or she's filing a claim. I'm missing funds. Why am I missing, you know, this deposit? Why is this deposit missing from my account? Right? So if it's not only the Instagram and the work that she was doing, she had her own, I feel like she could have had more than one account, and then she's got like one account for her Instagram, one account for promotions, one account for the videos and the modeling that she was doing, and someone has access to those accounts. Okay. The person has the Eight of Wands, swiftness. All right, the Eight of Wands is travel, the journey, traveling, this energy. There is more than one person showing up on this card, so you know, don't be confused where you see one. Even if it's a one Prince of Swords energy, they're showing up here as multiple people, multiple men. All right, they're an Aquarian male, Gemini, or a Libra that's a man. All right. The air sign female energy is coming from like Cardi B and Megan. I know that she may have been affiliated with them, but I feel like the female energy is really separate, as in she was contracted, or she was on the verge of being contracted with the females to be backup dancers for them and videos and things of that nature. This person showing up here like an accountant, a lawyer, an agent of some kind that crossed some type of boundary with her. They crossed some type of financial boundary with her. Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands. Right here in the present. Right? Taking someone to court. or contemplating taking this energy to court, right? There is something protective about them. So either they were protective with her, or they had their own protective services. Like they had their own protective services around them, separate from her. Or that's who they were supposed to be to her. But she's finding out what's going on. I get this idea of linking an account. Either they linked their account to what she had. They could have linked an account that they have separately from her. I feel like they could have linked their account to her funds. That could be how they were able to get something deposited directly to them, if that makes any sense. There's something going on here with an account linkage. Like her account was linked to this person, like they could have linked her account. They linked sometimes. She had a lot of work that she was doing. So there's one thing that she may not have really been paying attention to. I don't know if it's either the modeling, it's the Instagram, it's the OnlyFans. Something she wasn't paying attention to, or she paid little attention to, because maybe one of those things that she had online, she may not have had an account linked to. She did or she did not have an account linked to. If she did not have an account linked, I keep being drawn to the OnlyFans. If she didn't have an account linked to the OnlyFans, someone created an account to the OnlyFans so that money she would get deposited, money she would receive from an OnlyFans donation will go directly to this individual, right? It could be like an OnlyFans check. That's why I was getting checks and balances. It could be like an OnlyFans check that they got deposited to their account. So the account linkage, I get confused about. She may have been confused about for some reason. She was confused about some type of account linkage. So either someone explained to her, I need to link this. Like this could literally be a situation where she had a conversation with someone. She had a conversation, the Eight of Wands with the Fool and them. She had a conversation. Why do I get on file? Why do I have to put my information on file for the OnlyFans? Why do I have to give you my social for OnlyFans? Why do I have to do this, that, and the third for OnlyFans? Why do I have to give you my bank account information for OnlyFans? My routing and my checking? Why do I have to give you those numbers? She may have been thinking that she was making enough money on her own, either with the Instagram, the modeling, whatever it was, and the contracts she was receiving or due to receive. She was thinking that was enough money. And she could have been like, I don't want to receive money from the OnlyFans. Something that she was doing, she was like, I don't need that. I have enough money here doing this. I don't really care about what's happening over there. So someone could have taken advantage of the fact that she had that thought. And Jesus. This is really crazy that people do these things. People just, once somebody have your social and information like that, you are vulnerable. Like, that's it. You're very vulnerable. And what's happening is that somebody created, like, whatever she said that she didn't really care about, she didn't want directly, either it's happening directly between her and someone else that she knows, or there's another entity of a person external that saw that people were willing to send her. That's why I was getting the idea of pending, all these pending donations, and that somehow she wasn't paying attention to. I see what's happening. Somebody had more than one account with using her image or her information. Someone had more than one account with her information and her image on it, so that they can then receive donations to make it look like it's her that's controlling it. But I get a manager was doing that. So the Eight of Wands, this person and the Fool, a manager, the Spirit said a manager or an account, somebody that she had tied to her that was financially managing her, they were doing that. because they had access. They were able to go in. Somebody that obviously would have her information, that they would be able to make multiple accounts online, link bank accounts to it, theirs or hers to it, because they have all that on file. Or they went into the system and hacked something and got all that information to even create another account with her image and her documentation, so that when somebody sends her donations thinking that it's her that's seeing it, it's not really her that's seeing it, it's somebody else that's seeing it and getting that deposited to their account. Court. Eight of Wands, the Fool. They don't want to go to court. So one of these elements, they don't want to go to court. They don't want to go to court for anything. They don't want to go to court. They don't want to get caught. Right? There was an interesting perspective that came to mind that I saw one day, where court is like you're playing. That's what they call it, that. You're going to play. Like play in a metaphorical sense, where you're going to play to see who's going to win. Court. Basketball court. Court as in political court. Court. Courting could also be, if you don't want to look at it like that way, socio-politically, court could also be someone courting her. Like they could have courted her at one point. They are black. Like I'm looking at them. This is a black dude that's on here. They kind of look like, I'm trying to see what's going on with their hair. They have like a low cut. Like they may literally dress like this. Like they're black. They got glasses. They got like a low cut. They may literally look like this. Or some type of aesthetic that they have looks like this. Like it looks exactly like that. They look exactly like that. Or that's one part of their aesthetic, if that makes any sense. Someone she was hanging with, that she got too comfortable with, someone that I was playing games. They were playing games. This could have been a guy that she liked, that became an agent. There's a guy that she was dealing with intimately that she decided that they would become her agent. Or she wanted them to be her agent. Manage my things for me. Do this, that, and the third. They're over there making other profiles and linking their bank accounts to accounts with her things, like her videos and her images that people are just paying for. But it's not her that's getting the deposits. It's them. Damn. The future has the Six of Science. The Six of Swords in the future. And let me move this flower out the way. And the Instincts has the Devil, sign of Capricorn. See, now the Devil, if it's not only Capricorn, then it's, the Devil has a lot to do with materialistic perspectives and money and fame. That's the Devil. Or it's Capricorn and the Instincts. Alright? Capricorn and the Instincts, or is like a materialistic view that she had or somebody else had that was surrounding her in the Instincts. You know what I mean? Devil and the Instincts. I keep getting this feeling she had enough money. She had enough money. Like there's that. She had enough money, or they had enough money. I mean, you can never have enough money and more than enough money, but I feel like she was settled. I feel like she was comfortable. So I don't know if she did end up, I don't feel the court situation is that she may not have gotten the chance to take someone to court. Or she expressed, I feel this energy, she really didn't know who was behind the scenes that was using her information to receive funds that was getting deposited to her accounts and her fan pages. Like the whole point of having like someone protect those assets for her, the whole point of them protecting her assets for her was so that she wouldn't have to go to court for anything. So she either found out that someone really close to her that she asked to manage those things for her, that she found out that they were stealing and she's trying to take them to court, she tried to get them arrested possibly, or she really didn't know, and someone external like a stranger has access and was doing that, and she's expressing that to this person, I feel like this person, they are always involved. They're always involved. They were always involved with her, whatever that means. They were always involved with her finances. They were always involved. Like, they never went anywhere else. She was breakfast, lunch, and dinner for this person. Or that's how she saw them. Like, they were always around. I say that because they were always around. You know? So she may not have been thinking that it was them. She's expressing to them, I think somebody has access to this. I think somebody has access to that. She's expressing that to this person, but it's them. And she doesn't know. Right? So she's trying to, she could have been going into her own laptop, her own phone, her own computer to see where deposits were coming from, to see where deposits were going, to see where deposits were getting, to see where money was the linkage into the account that the money was getting deposited into. I get the idea of a friend. So someone that she had something like that going on, they were a friend to her. They were a friend. Prince of Swords was a friend. You know, they were a friend. Right? Someone that this person was tied to as well could have been involved. You know what I mean? I keep feeling more than one. Like there's more than one of them. I get a heist. More than one that's a man that they're involved in a heist with her things. Like they were involved in that. They were involved. One that she was close to. I get foreign. One that she was close to was foreign. Like foreign in the sense she didn't know them, or foreign in the sense that they were like from another country. They were of another ethnicity than her. Foreign. I get something about being like bilingual or trilingual or multilingual. That's them or someone that they were tied to, like a Hispanic male. So they could be the Hispanic male that was, you know, or this person is black and there was a Hispanic male tied to them. There's a Hispanic male that they were like, there's like two men. There's more than one man here that is involved. There's more than one male. There's a lot of male. It's coming through like a lot of male energy. It's coming through like that. Okay. This is out of control stuff. She has, okay, before I go any further, she had this agent, like she had this manager, this friend, this person she was cool with, that they also get giving information away. So as I ran through all of that, they were giving her information away, like, or they could have been selling it. So information as in like documentation, information as an image, video. I also get nude, like something else going on about nudity. Like there could have been like nude shots that she took, and somebody was, I don't know what they were doing, selling that stuff. But it's because of like an agent, a manager, someone that she considered to be like a friend. They were running their own. They were running their own. What do you call it? Business externally with her things, and her they were doing something really interesting with the documentation as well too. She could have found them online and she became close to them. But they're also tied to someone. I think that they were selling things too. They're tied to someone that the spirit is describing as, you know, like they're Hispanic. Someone that they're tied to. They're selling the documentation and images and video to that person. To that man. It could have been the man that they were saying was on the video. That they were saying the man that they said was, you know, traveled to her, whatever it was, that they were in communication with. I keep getting this idea of selling. They were selling something of hers, like pictures, video, documents, to that person. Like that's what they were doing. That's what they were doing. Right? Shots of her, like pictures of her, you know, pictures of her and things of that nature. Jeez. It's more than one man. The accomplishment has the 9 of happiness. 9 of cups is right next to this person. You know what I mean? Prince of Swords next to the 9 of cups energy. is in the accomplishment. The accomplishment may reside with them, but I get how much they made. The Nine of Cups resides with them because it has something to do with how much they were able to make. They made a lot from selling something that was hers. They made a lot. They either made a lot from selling something that was hers, or they made a lot with creating a fake profile with her image and documents and some other external account that she has no idea exists. And they're getting those deposits, Nine of Cups next to them. That's how they were making their money. That's how they were making their money. Nine of Cups is next to them because of that. Nine of Cups. Every time I want to go back to the court or talk about the court, I keep diverting away or going on tangents away from what I wanted to say about the court. The court is kind of residing with the Fool, the Aries element that's here, and the Eight of Wands. Right? The Fool and the Eight of Wands. The court situations are going on here. Right? Something could have been expensive about a court visitation. Something could have been expensive about that too. She may not have wanted to pay a lot of money to take someone to court. Right? She had inclinations about someone. She either had inclinations about an Aries element. There is a man here as well too. There's a man that kind of fits like, Hispanic look. He doesn't have to, he don't know what his birthday was. He doesn't have to be, looks like a white person here too as well. Like a lighter skinned man. Like there's two men here. Look at these two cards. There's two men. One is black, one is Hispanic or white or something. And they're like involved in like a heist of some kind. They're involved. There's two men here working together. Fear of court. Fear of getting caught. Dispersing documentation. Creating profiles. I do this idea of winning. Like somebody could be winning, whatever that means. Someone could have been winning. I don't know if that's energy of the agent, an accountant, a friend that she had, a lawyer, somebody, manager. Somebody's winning. So this could be something that didn't happen yet or is currently happening. Someone could be going to court in regards to her. She could have went to court. Someone could have been going to court at this, currently, or they were going to court without her knowledge. Or she took someone to court, something happened there, or that was something she was planning on doing. She was planning on taking someone to court. She didn't know about this. She really didn't know about this other individual. She didn't know, right? She didn't know who a manager or agent or a friend or somebody. She didn't know they involved this person, right? She didn't know that they were going to involve this person, or she didn't know that this person was involved. Period. She didn't know they were involved, period. Right? This is like, say I run like an online, I'm not going to use myself. Say a girl was running a business online and she has someone that is a helper, but she may not have done like a background check on this individual. And what's going on is that she feels really comfortable with this person enough to hand them her documentation, do the contract. She feels really comfortable with this person or somebody over here. I feel like it's them. She felt really comfortable with them to the point where she had no idea that they were going to join someone else in. She had no idea they were going to join someone else in. Right? She had no idea that they were. She had no idea that they were. Let me move on. The spiritual self has the Knight of Wands. There you go. Knight of Wands is a Sag. This brings in another energy. That's why I was getting, there's a lot of men here. Like there's two or more men here. I'm going to say there's like two or more men. Knight of Wands is a Sag in the spiritual self. They're a Sag. They're a Leo or an Aries. That's why I was getting an idea of like an Aries male, Sag male, Leo male, fire sign that's a man. In the spiritual self. One of them is an agent. Somebody's an agent somebody's a manager, an accountant, lawyer. I'm getting an idea of like a court appearance, or like giving or sending someone like a summons of some kind. Like I feel like that may have been what she was traveling to do with this person, to this person, for this person, with them. Like there's a summons attached to them, or this person, there's a summons attached to them. They got summons. One of these elements she managed to get a summons on, right? I'm looking at Knight of Wands energy. She did find out who the culprit was at one point. She found out who the culprit was. Either they're the culprit, Prince of Swords, or the Knight of Wands energy is a culprit. One of them was a culprit, and she found out. And I also get this idea of pledging to, like, I don't know what it is, like pledging to have somebody locked up, or trying to get someone locked up, if that makes any sense. Trying to get one of them locked up, right? Trying to get one of them locked up with the Knight of Wands, right? I feel like there needs to be an investigation as well too with this person. Like this energy, or these two elements, are one of these elements here, right? The man that they said that they found that they claimed was on scene, that person could have been sent out. I do feel like there's two elements here that they're behind the scenes of what was going on with her financially. And I also get how something was sold. They're behind the scenes into how something was sold or being sold that she had. And something could have been collateral related to that, or some, like her intellectual property, like her property, like things that her patent, her personal, like her documentation, things that really, belong to her, like that, information wise. They're behind the scenes. That's why this person is on the computer, and this person is, I keep getting this idea of being afraid of being arrested. They're like afraid of getting arrested. They're the rock star and the hacker. Rock star and the hacker. Knight of Wands, Prince of Swords. Right? One she was dating. One is a manager. One she could have been dealing with intimately. They're a manager of some kind. They're an accountant of some kind. They're a friend. Whatever it is that they are. Agent. That they're linking someone to her documentation, and the person is selling the things. They're selling the videos, making money off of the videos. Making money off of the videos. Creating profiles with her picture and document and accounts, that their own account or some other kind of random account that they have, that they link to her, like a profile that they made externally from her Instagram, that they were able to make money from. You know what I mean? With the Fool next to this person, I had no idea. Like the Fool next to this, she didn't know. She had no idea that they were involved, or she had no idea that they existed. But I get this idea of watching her home. Like this person could have watched her home. I don't know if the Prince of Swords energy could have been watching her home, or they could have sent this person to watch her home. Somebody stayed behind the scenes as well. One of these elements stayed behind the scenes, and one of them is, I get stalking. One of them ended up stalking her, and one of them decided to stay behind the scenes. The Prince of Swords could have ended up stalking her, or they stayed behind the scenes. Knight of Wands could have stayed behind the scenes, and they end up stalking her, or they sent someone to stalk her, watch her, because it's court related. It's court related. And it's court related. I also get caught with documentation. It's court related, and she either could have caught them with documentation, or she saw them with some type of documentation. They could have been in her presence, and they're like talking about her documentation and things in front of her. And I feel like she really didn't know what was happening. Like she didn't know what was happening with this individual. She didn't know. So let me just understand this. So one element about this is contract signing. One element as well with this is contract signing. right? Either with the Prince of Swords or the Knight of Wands. It's contract signing, model contract signing. I don't know if this is like contract signing to like be in the industry, like be a dancer, things of that nature. Like, I'm getting the idea that that's what they promised her. And so she's signing, she's giving, you know, her information. They're going through the procedure of her with the documentation, right? They didn't really want her on board, but at the same time, they're willing to meet up with her in their office. They're willing to meet up with her in a car. They're waiting to meet up with her for these things, right? Meanwhile, this individual is receiving documentation electronically from the Knight of Wands or vice versa. They're sending her, Knight of Wands is sending her documentation to the Prince of Swords for processing they're sending her documentation to the Prince of Swords for processing electronically. Or the Prince of Swords is doing that. They're sending her documentation to the Knight of Wands electronically. They're on the computer. So they're passing around information electronically. Signatures as well. Like they could have been forging her signature onto things. They had access to her social. They may have been using her social. Could be insurance here. There could be life insurance associated to her as well too. Life insurance, social, having access to all those things. They had access to all those things. So what's happening is that she either is present and they're going through these things with her, they're explaining the procedure, or she's not present and they're invasive. She's not present with them and they're being invasive to the point where she's meeting up with someone. She's giving them documentation, going through the contract, signing it, doing whatever it is that she's doing, and they're sending the information to someone. It's selling. They're sending the information to someone and the person is selling it. So Knight of Wands, she gave it to, and they sent it to Prince of Swords. Prince of Swords, she gave it to, and they're sending it to a Knight of Wands. And one of these tag team. They work tag team, and so they're just selling the documentation. They're selling the images. They're selling the videos. They're selling those things, right? Once you sell somebody's documentation like that, the person, she could have been in a situation where she probably would have had to get a new social. Like she probably would have ended up having to go and apply for a new social security number. You know, the court idea, and somebody being afraid that they're going to get locked up and things of that nature. They were stalking her. One of these dudes was stalking her. Like, they could have been stalking her online. They were stalking her out in the street. They were stalking her while she was going home and things of that nature, right? 8 of Wands. With them, she was going towards to complain, to argue, to tell them that she was going to have them arrested because something happened online. Someone could have made her aware of something online. Or they said something really cryptic to her online, and it sparked, like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? How do you know that? How do you have that? Where'd you get that information from? This is my private thing. So I'm being drawn to an agent. An agent is responsible for that. So she's like, I'm gonna take you to court. That's why I said one of these dudes is behind the scenes, and one of the one that's behind the scenes is doing the selling and receiving. And then the other one, she knows they exist or she doesn't know they exist. Then they're in communication with someone that she was directly in communication with. And that person may have been acting like they don't know what the hell is going on, or they're trying to act like they may not have known how somebody was able to get some type of documentation or pictures or video of her to sell. So someone could have approached her and said, you know, I saw this video of you on this website. And she's like, how? I didn't put that there. She's like, I didn't put that there. I'm looking at the Knight of Wands. It's there. It's them. So it's the agent's fault. Then she could have ended up complaining to a lawyer or an accountant Someone may not have been really doing their job, or if she didn't have a lawyer or an accountant, she may have been on the verge of getting one, but something may have been too late with her trying to get one, because somebody already made a lump sum of money. Or it's like there's things that are really private that were hers that end up on other websites, and someone is like, you know, how to get this. She could have been like, you know, she found out at the last minute how to get these things off of this website. Could have been a point, like a you know, like an adult video, like a XXX kind of website that there's certain things ended up on that were hers, and that's not what she wanted. That was not her intention. And somebody's making money off of it, and so obviously, like an agent will be an agent or a lawyer. Somebody has to protect those things, but they're not. They're giving it to someone to make money off of. Somebody's money hungry that she had in her circle. The Ace of Discs is in the mentality with the devil. Ace of Discs, the devil kind of is like OnlyFans work. You know what I mean? It's like OnlyFans. It's the devil's kind of like. How she even managed to get so many followers in the first place. That's the devil energy with the Ace of Disc. That's the job that she was in. She could have had some other kind of work on the side, like a regular job, or something about her having a regular job may have been difficult to do. She may have been trying to extract from being online as well. She probably was trying to extract from being online, like that, all that energy from being online with the Ace of Discs and the Devil card. You know what I mean? Ace of Discs with the Devil, right? It's the job. It's the work. She had to back away from. She had to try to figure out a way to back away from, because some element about it was extreme. You know what I mean? I keep getting this idea of like protective services. Like protective services. Some type of protective services that she had around her. Like she had protective services around her. You know? Like protective services. That's interesting. Like something. Like protective services. Protective services will be her work. Protective services will be, I also get the security of like the security of her home. Protective services. Something may have been going on with the security of like, I don't know, whether she's living in a gated community or she lived in some type of like community. I don't know if it's like a cul-de-sac around there or something, but that has something to do with protective services, like or like security, like the security of around the area that she was living in. You know, someone could have been off duty. Someone could have been off duty at the time. One of these elements could be like protective services. I keep getting that idea. Like she's in protective services. She's in protective services or something. Something that's protective about it. Or she was like they had her in protective services, or that was somebody's responsibility. You know, that was somebody's like responsibility around her, if that makes any sense. What's changing is the Ten of Cups energy. So the relationship that she had with her family is changing. You know, the relationship she had with her family is changing. She's not with them. The energy is saying that she's not with them. She's not with her family. That's why they're in a changing position. Right? That's why they're in a changing position. Right? I do get this feeling of like locking the door. I keep being drawn to protective services as well too. I don't know what it is about the protective services. I keep being drawn to say that. Like, that's what what was involved in. Like, a protective service would be like, what's an example of that? Like, home security or reaching out to specific people to protect her assets. Or like her security as a person. You know what I mean? Her security as a person. And her being vulnerable, if that makes any sense. Like her being vulnerable in whatever it was. But the energy is saying that she is no longer with, like, she's not with the family anymore. She's not with the family anymore. You know, she's not with them. Right? Ace of Disc, the Devil card. She was thinking about a new position, possibly. I also get identity. Something was going on with her identity as well. Identity and like changing identity. You know, her changing her identity. Right? So changing the identity is protective services. That's changing the identity. Okay? Like changing the identity would be like the name that she had on her Instagram page, or the name that she went by, or changing her name and changing the name to something else. Okay? Changing the name to something else. The resolution has the Eight of Prudence, the Eight of Pentacles, going towards the Six of Swords energy. So that this, the Eight of Pentacles will be working hard in a new job. I also get secrecy. The Eight of Pentacles will be like using protective services to protect something that's going on that is happening secretly. Like something is secrecy about something that she did have going on. Like there's secrecy there. Okay, it could have something to do with like a name change. You know what I mean? It could have something to do with a name change. I also get whereabouts. It has something to do with like a name change and some type of whereabouts. Name change and whereabouts. Okay, that's protective services. Six of Swords in the future. The Ace of Discs and the Devil card. Six of Science. The Six of Science would be getting somebody arrested, right? The Six of Swords would be getting somebody arrested or not being able to get somebody arrested. I mean, it's a six, so it would be a good omen. Like that would be like either in her favor. I also get a family member being like a good omen that would be in the family member's favor. A good omen that will be in the family member's favor, if that makes any sense. And it could have something to do with getting some people arrested that I get signed a contract with, like getting somebody arrested that she signed a contract with, that they did something with her documentation and information, right? That's what the protective services is for. Okay, that's what the protective services is for. That's what I'm feeling. You know, that's what I'm thinking there. So the situation, like, you know, the news, and it's like, you know, I do feel like something is protective. Like I feel like something is definitely protective here. Let me do an outcome on the situation real quick as to what's happened with her, what's going on. Alright, Two of Swords. I keep getting services. The Two of Swords is services or some type of protective service. I keep getting that all the time. And let me do another outcome. Two of Swords, 2, 1, 2. And the Eight of Swords energy. There's this, you know what's coming to mind? Like, what's coming to mind is like a witness protection kind of situation that's going on here. That's the energy that's coming through. Something's going on with witness protection, if that makes any sense. Ace of Disc, Eight of Pentacles, the Devil, the Six of Swords. Like there's this energy of a witness protection, or like some type of witness protection program. There's a witness protection program that either like she could have been involved in. It's someone could have had her in. Like a witness protection would be for her own things. Like witness protection could be like for her own documentation, her own things. You know what I mean? Like a witness protection. Witness neighborhood. The witness protection as well could also be associated to people in her neighborhood and people that lived in her community. Right? People that lived in her community. They weren't speaking up. So the Two of Swords with the Eight of Swords is that people in her community, they weren't speaking up either. They weren't speaking up as well. You know? They weren't really speaking up in regards to her. Because I feel like I feel like one element about this is that they saw, I also get this idea of a yard. They saw someone in her yard at one point. Some type of yard that she had, either like a front, I don't know if she had a backyard. Her like front yard or like a backyard. Like they saw someone there, I get for a few days. They saw someone around there maybe for a few days. I also get this idea of sitting in a car as well. Someone was sitting in a car, like around her home. Someone was sitting in a car around her home. Six of Swords energy, right, resides with this person, right? So they could have been sitting in a car. You know what I mean? I also got a detective. Something's also going on here with a detective ended up figuring out what was, like, something was strange to a detective. So some type of complaint that she put in, she could have gotten a detective on the case, or a family member got a detective on the case. That's why I was getting the idea of family, like someone in her family could have hooked up a detective to watch what was happening with her. That's why I was getting this idea of protective services and things of that nature with a detective or a police officer or someone that may have been watching the home or asked to watch her home for her. Right? They were asked to watch the home. Or someone that one of these two elements were tied to, I guess, sat in a car. One of these elements sat in a car around her home. Or they sat outside of the home to watch her go in and out of the house. Then something's also happened in the back, like, you know, I get they came through. One of these elements came through the back of her home. They came through the back of her home. But what's strange is that the investigators were watching her house, or they weren't around at a particular time. And if she did have her court situations and things of that nature, I see what's going on. The court situations and things of that nature is that she inquired about protective services, and they could have given her the protective services, like, you know, having security be outside her home, you know, having somebody stay there to see if there was any strange activity around her home, because something that was happening with her documentation and things and her business and contracts online, or with an agent or a lawyer or somebody, a manager, it got crazy to the point where she had to inquire about protective services, or her family had to inquire about protective services. But yet not really doing jobs, so the protective services didn't really end up doing their job. So because they ended up not really doing their job, somebody managed to come through like a back door. I mean, I don't know if there was a back door or not. The back of somewhere. They managed to come in. Like, they managed to get in to her place. They managed to get into her place. Someone was also disguised. Right? I keep feeling like two. Like, I feel like there was more than one. Either like one of them was outside, or one of them came in. One was outside, one came in her home. But there's two men involved, or three. There's like two men involved here. There's two men involved, or three, two. I keep feeling two. There's a Two of Swords here. I keep feeling number two. Right? I keep feeling number two. I do feel like she may have been attacked from behind as well. Like, there's that idea of being attacked from behind. Like, behind would mean that someone is coming from, that's why I was getting the back, like, or she was just attacked from, like, behind her. She was attacked from the behind her. You know? You see the coloring of these two dudes? One is lighter looking, like how they said with the description of the person. One is like, you know, light or white. The other one is a black guy. That they remained online or they came in person. I keep this idea of being like in a car. Like someone, this feels like robbery. It feels like robbery as well. Like, it feels like robbery. Like, I do feel like something that she was doing, she could have gotten some type of money back. Or she found a way to get some money deposited to her that she realized was getting deposited to an external source. That could have been what she was going to court and lawyers and accountants about. And they could have fixed the matter. They could have fixed the matter. But there's still a heist happening. There's still a heist happening because there was more than one account made of her. There was more than one bank account linkage. So her getting something to work in her favor was shutting down one particular account that she thinks, that she had been thinking was the source of the matter. There's more. Right? The spirit is giving me the idea that something was interfering with their business. Their business. Somebody is also running like some type of ring, like a sex ring as well. When somebody runs that, one of those elements run that online and in person. They run that. And then something that she was doing, they had access to. And they're selling the things. And she could have managed to get whatever it is that she found out was going on, like that, 8 of Swords, 2 of Swords. She found out that was happening with her images and video, and she could have gotten that. She could have stopped that, or I would have revealed one of them. She would have revealed one of them, but she managed to stop something there. Or she could have had something that she inquired to the court about, or a police officer about. They may have been starting to investigate what one of these men were doing. They started to investigate it. So they're looking crazy, basically, right? So the watching her, the energy of them watching her was like she either was on the verge of telling a detective. She was on the verge of making something known to a police officer about what was happening with her things, or what she saw online, or where she saw her stuff. So this is like she could have been, this is like, say she went online and she saw her stuff on a website that she really didn't want to see it on, and she called the police and say, I found my stuff on this website. And that would have busted them, because it's like something about the website is like, there's nudity or there's XXX content on the website. And that would have busted the chain that one of these two energies were running behind the scenes with her things on it. With her things on there. Right? With her things on there. Wow. Okay. Let me do outcome with Ramses and see what's going on. And then they want to attack her, or they're watching her, they're stalking her. Let me do an outcome here. They're running like sex rings, like they're doing like they've got like these crazy websites that her stuff is on, and she's telling cops and investigators about it, and they're like, this is what we can do for you. And because they're stalking, that's the only reason why they're stalking, so they know that she's about to be on their case with the cops and investigators, basically. All right, you have the sign of Aquarius here, so that could be an Aquarian that's in the outcome. And then there's the Tower, sign of Scorpio. So I don't know if she had a Scorpio element in her family, or just a Tower with an Aquarius. It's the Tower with the air sign, that's a man. And you have Knight of Wands as a Sag. a Leo, or you have Aries there as well too. There's a lot of men going on here. There's a lot of men. I feel like she was attacked by men. Yes, like in a cyber way and like in person. But this, it feels like more than one. Like I feel like there's like more than one man. There's more than one man that I feel like she was attacked by. You know, there was cyberbullying. I feel like she experienced some type of cyberbullying, but by men. She experienced cyberbullying by men. But they're taking the cyberbullying from online to the street, basically. Or she was on the verge of busting their craziness of a sex website or something that with her content on there. And she's, and then she also doesn't know that someone that she's close to is involved, or it's their responsibility into the reason why. I keep getting this idea of like sex. There's this idea of like sex trade, like some type of sex trading, like images or something like that. Something's happening there like that. That she was about to bust. Excuse me. She was about to bust it, and somebody is like they're, they made money, whatever it is. They bought houses with the money that they were making from images of women possibly as well. That she's like, why are my stuff on this website? With the Aquarius and the Tower. So it could have been an Aquarian that it was in her home with her. All that air. Look at all this air that's here. You got all this air that's going on here. You got 6 of Swords in the future. You got 2 of Swords, 8 of Swords, and Aquarius with the Tower. The Aquarian with the Tower. Scorpio, Aries, Knight of Wands is a Sag, whatever fire sign is a man. Prince of Swords. Let me do another outcome on the Tower, one more, and then that's it. The Tower is somebody coming in, or the Tower is like being attacked by an air sign, being attacked by an Aquarian, or someone that's embodying Aquarian energy or star energy. All right, let me do an outcome. All right, and then you have the 5 of Wands. Right? They can't leave home. So 5 of Wands is not being able to leave the house. She couldn't leave her home. She couldn't leave the home. Right? Because the Spirit is giving an idea of an aggressive entrance. There was an aggressive entrance. So she couldn't leave her home because of that. This is also fire. 5 of Wands is also fire element. It resides with the Knight of Wands. All this energy. Okay. You have the Star, you have the Tower, you have 5 of Wands resides with the Knight of Wands. So you got an air sign man and a fire sign man that were involved. They were involved. You know what I mean? They were involved. There's no way that one man could have, you know what I mean? Like there's no way that, I feel like an alarm was broken too. I'm getting that idea. Like an alarm was broken. Somebody broke some type of like alarm that she had around her home. Something was broken. Something was broken. Or like something she broken as in like, something physically. Something physically. The Aquarius, Aquarius. You got. That's the Aquarian. That is an Aquarian, but air sign. You got Prince of Swords. You got Knight of Wands. Attacking. 5 of Wands with the Tower. Aggressive entrance. A fight. Aggressive entrance and fights and things of that nature going on. I don't really understand how anyone couldn't hear that a fight was taking place, but in the neighborhood, I don't really get how. I don't get how like they, they didn't know or they couldn't hear anything. That's kind of crazy to me. It's crazy. Alright, so that is Janae Gagnier's reading. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about it, you know where to find me. Mahir Energy, go in peace. Be well. Take care. Bye.